Blood of the Daleks. This was an audio drama released by Big Finish as the first two stories of the Eighth Doctor Adventures series of Big Finish audio dramas. This was released on the 31st of December 2006 and the 7th of January 2007, and it was written by Steve Lyons. The Eighth Doctor, played by Paul McGann, has presumably recently lost his companion Charlie Pollard. However, he suddenly finds a new companion in his TARDIS, Lucy Miller, voiced by Sheridan Smith, who none of them quite know why she's ended up in the TARDIS, having been on her way to work somewhere in the north of England. The Doctor tries to get her home, but seemingly finds himself unable to. They both find themselves on the planet of Red Rocket Rising, which has recently suffered an asteroid strike. While there, they end up meeting up with a group of people, including Asher Gryvern, voiced by Hayley Atwell, who was originally assistant to a Professor Martez, a scientist who did some rather questionable things. The president of Red Rocket Rising, Eileen Clint, voiced by Anita Dobson, who's just trying to get everyone to safety and is also trying to escort Asher to prison. And Tom Cardwell, a kind of conspiracy theorist nut voiced by Kenneth Cranham, who believes that something a lot more sinister is going on. Now, while all of this is going on, the people of Red Rocket Rising get a vocal message out of space of a species that wants to help them evacuate and wants to help them get far away. However, it turns out that this message is coming from the Daleks, voiced once again by Nicholas Briggs. And a lot more is going on, and without going into spoilers, that's pretty much as far as I can go with this story. I mean, the rest of this video is probably going to be rather spoiler heavy. But yeah, I will admit, this is pretty much a good one. I mean, one of the first stories I ended up listening to, aside from Spare Parts, was Storm Warning, and that introduced Charlie Pollard. So I guess the reason why I wanted to listen to Blood of the Daleks next was because I knew a rough list of some of the Eighth Doctor's companions from Big Finish. Charlie Pollard, Lucy Miller, Keris, Molly O'Sullivan and the like. But I wanted to hear another companion for the Eighth Doctor just to get some variety in at first. And Lucy Miller, voiced by Sheridan Smith, I think does do the job very well. I mean, there are two things I do want to note about this story, but I'll note them in a little while. And I do actually think this is quite a good story. I mean, the Daleks, they do some very well here, and this was 2007, so I think they do well. But anyway, the two things that, with this particular story, that I do want to kind of mention. One is the casting of Hayley Atwell as Asher Gryvern. Now, I'm going to do a big spoiler here, so if you don't want to hear it, go off, listen to the two parts of the story, then come back here. One is Hayley Atwell as Asher Gryvern, or it's eventually revealed Professor Martez. Because Professor Martez was a scientist who he witnessed an asteroid crash, the one that Tom Cardwell had witnessed, and he had found Daleks, seemingly dead Daleks, but all the same. And then he conducted a series of experiments to turn humans into Daleks, seeing them as the perfect fighting machine. However, with his own body eventually failing, what he did was transfer his consciousness into his assistant, Asher Gryvern, voiced by Hayley Atwell. And the thing about Hayley Atwell I want to mention here, I am delighted that she did actually turn up in Doctor Who in some form. Like, I do remember when people were suggesting kind of lists for future Doctors. I think at some point it was either shortly before or towards the end with Jodie Whittaker, either shortly before her or recently. I do remember seeing Atwell on the list of dream Doctors who people would want, although I believe that Atwell has herself taken herself off the chain. But I will never complain about having Hayley Atwell somewhere in the Doctor Who universe. I mean, I'll admit the only other thing I've actually seen her in is the MCU. Like, I know she edited the series Agent Carter, and there's, of course, her roles in Captain America, the First Avenger, and, of course, in the kind of final scenes of Avengers Endgame. But I'm delighted to have her somewhere in the Doctor Who universe. And having her here, as well as having her as a character who you get to like, and then it's revealed she's actually a villain, that to me is brilliant. Just having Hayley Atwell somewhere in the Doctor Who universe, even if it's just Big Finish, that's okay by me. I love that. The other thing that I do want to quickly mention about this story is it introduces Lucy Miller as a companion, voiced by Sheridan Smith. And here's the thing, this story came out New Year's Eve 2006 and 7th of January 2007. So by this point, The Runaway Bride would have already been released. We've already seen Catherine Tate as Donna Noble. But for me, Lucy Miller kind of feels like the testing ground for Donna Noble. Now, just hear me out on this. Now, Donna Noble eventually ended up coming back in 2008, or rather in 2007, because that's when they would have filmed it. I think because, from what I've heard, Catherine Tate eventually came back and said, "Oh, great fun doing this. Can I come back?" So they wrote her into the next series. And to me, Lucy Miller kind of feels like, if this makes sense, Donna Noble light. Because we've had argumentative companions before, people who will give the Doctor a thunk if he steps out of line. I mean, I think Ace was pretty much built on that. I mean, you got Ace, Leela, and the like. I mean, they were argumentative companions, but I feel like Lucy Miller is kind of like the testing ground of Donna Noble. Like, if we can do it here and people like it, and we manage to get away with it here, maybe we can try it out on TV. And I feel like modern Donna Noble, kind of from Series 4, that to me feels like what Lucy Miller is. Like, she's argumentative. She'll give the Doctor a thunk. I mean, she vehemently argues back with him, but at the same time, you can kind of understand her, and she understand her character, and I think she does really well. I mean, even just the ending, sorry, a little bit of a thing where it's kind of revealed that Lucy has been placed there by the Time Lords as kind of witness protection. Like, the Doctor has to find a way to protect her, and seemingly neither side is that thrilled about it. I mean, you can tell later on that they're going to be friends, but just them saying to each other, "Well, looks like we're stuck with each other now." Yeah, looks like it. Just, that to me, I can see that Lucy Miller was laying the groundwork for future Donna Noble, and to me, that's just brilliant. I love that she's so argumentative, but at the same time, they do legitimately come to care for each other, even if it is going to take a while. So, Blood of the Daleks, a two-part story by Big Finish. I definitely give it a thumbs up. I mean, is it as good as Spare Parts or Storm Warning? Definitely not as good as Spare Parts. Spare Parts, for me, I think I messed up a little bit by listening to that one first, as that one is gold standard. As for whether it's better than Storm Warning, yeah, I think depending what day it is, it may either go above or below. But give a listen to both parts of Blood of the Daleks and let me know your thoughts on it. Anyway, that's my quick little review of Doctor Who Blood of the Daleks. Until next time, see ya.